Learning and mastering a language and making it second nature to you is something that takes time. It's long, tedious, sometimes boring work, and there is no way around it. However, it is possible to get massive results fast if you have the right strategy and an effective method to follow.
Hey, you're listening to the Influency Podcast. I'm Hadar, your host, a pronunciation expert, fluency coach, and a proud non-native speaker. With over 16 years of experience teaching, I am here to share with you all my secrets on how to show up in English clearly, with confidence and freedom. On this podcast, I'll provide step-by-step strategies, lessons, stories, and practical tips to keep you inspired and motivated on your English journey. Are you ready? Let's do it.
Hey everyone, today I'm going to tell you how you can improve your pronunciation in English fast, how improving your pronunciation fast is even possible, and I'm going to tell you why pronunciation work is so incredibly important for your overall fluency and confidence in English, and I'm going to draw from my own personal experience and share that with you. But before we get started, make sure you open up your calendars and save the date, because on February 4th, 2025, I'm going to start a pronunciation bootcamp that is absolutely free. It's a week-long online event on my private app with live pronunciation trainings, mindset talks, practice sessions with coaches where you can interact with my coaches and ask for feedback, conversation groups with an incredible community, challenges, and so much more. All of that is going to take place on my private app. And have I mentioned it is absolutely free? Click the link below to sign up and save your spot, because you are going to get so much value. You are going to get a lot of opportunities to practice, and you are going to learn the tools that can potentially change your life. And I'm going to tell you how that is possible. Okay? Now, before that, if you're new to my channel or my work, my name is Hadar. I'm a non-native speaker of English. I have trained myself to speak the way I speak right now. So everything that I have learned, I'm going to share with you. It's based on my own personal experience and my experience teaching thousands and thousands of students over the last 16 years. Check out my website, hadarshemish.com, for more, and definitely click the link below to register for my free pronunciation bootcamp. If you're listening to this on the podcast, then the link is in the description as well. Now let's talk about how improving your pronunciation fast is even possible, because let me tell you this, I do not believe in magic solutions. I don't believe there is such thing as speak fluently in 3 months, become fluent in 3 weeks. And I'm telling you things that I've actually seen people advertise on apps and courses. As someone who also learns another language, Spanish, learning and mastering a language and making it second nature to you is something that takes time. It's a lot of small details that build up upon each other. It's long, tedious, sometimes boring work, and there is no way around it. However, it is possible to get massive results fast if you have the right strategy and an effective method to follow. I know from having gone through this training myself, I know what works and what doesn't work. When I started studying acting, I started learning pronunciation, and I saw the impact that it had on my own speech and how it affected my fluency and my confidence. But I also know that I invested a lot of time in learning things that did not make an impact on my speech. And when I started teaching, I also realized that there are things that are more helpful and things that are not helpful at all. Now, I know that if you are a self-learner, you probably spend a lot of time researching for content, looking for the right things, or spreading yourself thin, learning a lot of things, but not really seeing the impact. All of it is something that is very typical for the style of learning that we have today, where people have access to all this incredible content, but without a clear strategy or without clear guidance. So, how can you improve your pronunciation fast? You can improve your pronunciation fast if you have the right formula to follow. Now, when I teach my students in my programs, on my videos, and inside the Pronunciation Bootcamp, I hope you grabbed your seat because it's free. I will teach you the formula that has worked for me and that has worked for thousands and thousands of my students. And I'm telling you this because I have already sorted out and filtered out all of the things that don't work. I want to save you time and I want to share that with you. If you want to improve your pronunciation fast, here are 3 things that need to happen. 1, you have to understand the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Now, this depends on your first language, your ability to hear sounds. It depends on how much you use the language. It depends on your mindset. It depends on your experience in English and other elements. Once you recognize where you are at and where you need to go, it's a lot easier for you to build a plan that works for you, because improving your pronunciation is something that is very individual. Now, if you just try to copy paste a formula that works for everyone, it may not work for you. So when you approach pronunciation learning, you have to understand the gap, the individual gap, and take ownership over your own practice. I'm going to give you the tools and teach you how to do that on your own. The next thing I'm going to teach you, and I believe is essential for you to be able to make fast progress, is to become more self-reliant when it comes to giving yourself feedback or knowing if you're on the right track or not. When you work on pronunciation, you definitely don't want to repeat the mistake. You don't want to practice something that is incorrect, because that's when you kind of like build a muscle memory of the wrong thing. So you want to make sure that you are on track and that you are pronouncing something correctly. I get that. But you have to be able to recognize that on your own if you really want to improve. There are all these really cool apps out there that give you pronunciation feedback. And maybe some of you have worked with a teacher and you feel like, I just need someone to tell me if I'm doing it okay or not. Or maybe you have a friend or a spouse or a child that can give you feedback on your pronunciation. But if you become too dependent on someone else's feedback and you can't even hear if you're saying something correctly or not, you will never feel free and you will never be able to progress quickly enough, because you don't always have feedback, and also you won't have the confidence to take something and run with it. So what I'm going to do in the bootcamp and what I do in my programs is I'm going to teach you to be your own coach, to be self-reliant, and to take ownership over your practice. So you would never be dependent on pronunciation apps or teachers ever again. Having it is great, but you can't build your entire practice and journey on that. And the last thing that is going to help you improve your pronunciation fast, and again, I'm going to teach you that in my bootcamp, is having the right step-by-step method to integrate a new sound into your speech. Let me explain. When we think of learning pronunciation or new sounds, we usually think of finding a good lesson that explains it and watching it and understanding it. But this is just one of the 5 steps that you need to integrate a new sound into your speech and to improve your pronunciation. Just one step. So usually people actually don't do the other 4 steps, and then they're confused as to why things are not improving, why they're not able to actually use the sounds that they've learned. I will teach you why that is and how to change that. I'm going to give you my 5-step method. It's called the Pronunciation Confidence Method that I've developed, and I'm going to teach you that. But not only that, I'm going to show you how to practice it effectively with the help and coaching of the community and my coaches. So you will not do it on your own. It's not going to be theoretical. It's going to be super practical. The 5-step method is what you need to understand how to put into practice what you learn and actually see results. Okay? So let me do a quick recap. First, you need to understand what you need to work on, your own personal pronunciation plan. Then you need to become more self-reliant and learn how to be your own coach and recognize if you're practicing something correctly or not. I'm going to train you how to do that. And number 3 is you have to have the 5-step method to be able to integrate a new sound into your speech. So all of that is going to be in the free bootcamp. Now, I want to talk about why pronunciation is critical for your fluency, because a lot of times people say, okay, great, especially if you haven't done pronunciation work and you haven't seen the impact it has, right? You might say, okay, it's something that I could do later when I'm already fluent, or I don't want to change my accent. I don't need pronunciation work, but working on your accent and pronunciation is so important for your overall fluency and confidence. First, because working on your pronunciation repeatedly is basically you using a lot of words and phrases and saying them out loud. When that happens, what also happens is that you turn a lot of your passive vocabulary into active vocabulary, and you'll find yourself using more and more varied words in your speech. So ultimately, working in your pronunciation improves and enhances your vocabulary. Also, when you work on your pronunciation, what happens is that you train your brain to listen to nuances. You teach it sounds, you teach it reductions, you teach it the nuances of melody and why it's important for delivering clear communication. Now, if you struggle with understanding native speakers, if you feel that they speak too fast, if you find it hard to understand different dialects, working on your pronunciation is going to help you understand that. It's kind of like releasing the fog that you might have in your brain when you listen to other people. All of a sudden, you'll recognize things better, because the best way to train your brain to perceive what it is that you're hearing and to understand it is through the mouth and through doing it slowly yourself. Almost every single one of my students that I've taught, and I've taught over 15,000 students from the time I started teaching back in 2008, and I kid you not, this is not a made-up number, they say that working on their pronunciation has helped them significantly and really quickly with understanding others better. Another reason why improving your pronunciation is important, because when you work on your pronunciation, you understand how to pronounce a sound in the most optimal way. When that happens, you invest less energy into pronouncing something. And when you invest less energy, you get tired less, and you're more eager to speak and more likely to speak. Also, working your pronunciation helps you smooth out your speech, remove obstacles, and then you'll get stuck a lot less. Think of a situation where you speak English and you don't feel tired, you don't feel depleted and exhausted after speaking, you don't get stuck, and you feel that everything is smooth and effortless like it is in your first language. How likely will you be to use English more, to speak more? How will you feel after? How would it feel not to feel exhausted, not to feel tired, and to feel like everything just comes out smoothly? That alone will not only improve your communication, it will also improve your confidence and your willingness to use English. So it's going to improve your vocabulary. It's going to improve your comprehension skills. It's going to help you speak with ease and effortlessness. And it's going to improve your overall confidence, because all of these elements together are going to help you speak more. And when we speak more, you become more fluent, so on and so forth. And I believe that pronunciation is a skill that can not only change your English, but can also change your life, because the ripple effect of working on something small like pronunciation that will help you improve vocabulary and confidence, and you will start liking your voice more, and then you'll start speaking more, and you're going to want to be heard more, and then you'll say yes to opportunities. And when you say yes to opportunities, you become more courageous. Things happen in your life, and you could potentially get a better job, make new friends, make better connections, start your own business. All of these things could potentially happen as the ripple effect of you just starting with something very, very technically small and technical, but the impact is going to be huge. I have seen that myself, because I started working on my pronunciation just so I could get better roles as an actress. I started in acting school, But then I realized that I've become more confident. I am more happy to speak. I speak more, and then I made new friends, and then I started enjoying my English voice rather than hating it, and then I started teaching, and that has completely changed the direction of my life. And now I'm helping other students do the same, and my students start their own businesses, and they make new friends, and they have different jobs. So I kid you not when I tell you that this is a skill that could potentially change your life, because it's not just about being understood by native speakers, and it's not just about improving your communication and the ability to deliver a clear message, which is really important, but it's not just about that. It's the ripple effect of doing this work and how it can impact your English and your life. And I want to be a part of it, and this is why I'm going to host the Pronunciation Bootcamp that starts February 4th, and it's absolutely free. And I guarantee that you will get a lot of value from it. Now, if you happen to watch this after the bootcamp has already finished, then don't worry, I still got your back. In the description, you are going to find a list of links and resources and videos for you to do this work on your own. But if you're watching this before February 4th, make sure you get inside the bootcamp and you join us for an incredible week. Okay? I'm here in the comments if you have any questions, and if not, I really hope to see you there. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.